All right, this is going to be a two-parter lesson just in case my computer crashes, so we're going to want to watch both videos. I want to do a review in this first one about solving absolute value equations. So the first problem is going to be problem 12 here. 2y minus 4 is equal to 12. We want to first look in front of the equation. Nothing there to move. Look at the end of the absolute values is what I meant to say, in front of it and then after it. There's no numbers or anything to move. We just have the absolute value bars by themselves. So in this, we're going to do two cases. In the first case, we're going to do 2y minus 4 is equal to 12. In case number 2, we're going to do 2y minus 4 is equal to negative 12. So we're going to add that little negative there. From here, we're going to try to isolate y, get it by itself. We're going to move everything away from it. We're going to do the opposite of everything we see. Start with the add subtract. I see minus 4, so we're going to do plus 4 and plus 4. You do it to both sides of the equal sign. In case number 2, we're going to do the same thing. We have a minus 4, so doing the opposite is plus 4, and then over here is plus 4 as well. Same steps, but we're going to have a different outcome. From left to right, the 2y is going to come straight down. The negative 4 and positive 4, those are opposites, so they go away, and 12 plus 4 is 16. Let's see what happened on this one. The 2y comes down. Again, the 4's cancel each other. There's the equal sign. And this time, negative 12 plus 4 is actually negative 8. So different outcomes. Same steps again. We're going to divide by 2. Two things next to each other means multiply, and the opposite was divide. We're going to divide the 16 by 2. Same thing in case number 2. Divide by 2 on both sides. Let's see what the results are. Y is equal to 8. And in this one, y is equal to negative 4 because the 2's canceled, leaving us just the y's. All right, we have to check these, make sure they really are solutions, that both of them work. So what we're going to do is go back to the original equation. I'm going to do this one in red ink. We're going to write it 2 times. We're going to say 2, but instead of the y, we're going to plug in the 8. And then we've got minus 4. Absolute value is equal to 12. Then we're going to do it again. We're going to say 2, but this time instead of the y, we're going to plug in the negative 4 that we got. And then the rest of the equation is minus 4 is equal to 12. So let's go ahead and calculate that. 2 times 8, that is 16, minus 4 equals 12. And 16 minus 4, that's the absolute value of 12. Equals 12. And the absolute value, remember the bars turn that number into a positive 12. The other side is still 12, and that checks out. 12 is equal to 12. So we have one solution for sure. Let's look at the other one. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Minus 4, is that equal to 12? Negative 8 and negative 4. You can use Desmos if you need to, or a calculator, but that comes out to negative 12. What are the absolute value bars going to do to this negative 12? Well, of course, turns it positive. Does 12 equal 12? You bet. So we have 2 solutions. The solutions are y equals 8 and y equals negative 4. All right, let's look at some more. So the next one I'm going to look at, it's not cooperating. There we go. 4 minus z minus 10. So look, I noticed that we have this minus 10 at the end of the absolute value bars. And before we can do case 1 and case 2, the bars got to be by themselves. So let's go ahead and move that 10 to the other side. See what's left. So the 4 minus z, that's going to be there still. Negative 10 plus 10, that cancels. And over here, 1 plus 10, that equals 11. Look, the bars are by themselves. Nothing in front, nothing at the end. We're going to do 2 cases here. We're going to get rid of the bars and just write 4 minus z is equal to 11. Basically the same problem without the bars. And we'll do it again. 4 minus z, no bars there, is equal to, this time we got to call it negative 11. So z is not by itself. We've got to do the opposite of everything we see. I see a positive 4. Let's do minus 4 on both sides of the equal sign. The 4's cancel, leaving us negative z is equal to 7. Now the z is not alone. It's got this negative sign, and technically, if you don't see it, it's negative 1. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. Negative 1's cancel, and that gives us z is equal to -7. So there's one possible solution. Let's solve over here. -4, it's the same steps, different outcome. 4's cancel, negative z comes down. -11 and -4 is -15. Divide by -1 again, and that means z is equal to +15. Let's make sure these two are actually solutions, that they work when we plug them back in. So the original problem was 4 minus z, but instead of z, we're going to try out -7 minus 10 is equal to 1. So you're writing out the entire original problem. And then we're going to do it again another time. I'll do this one in blue just so we can tell the difference between them. 4 minus, what are we plugging in this time? +15. That was the other possible solution. Minus 10 is equal to 1. All right, let's solve this out. So the negative and negative, that turns into a positive. That'll be 4 plus 7 minus 10 equals 1. We know 4 plus 7 is 11. Minus 10 is equal to 1. Absolute value of 11 is still 11. And 11 minus 10 is 1. And so sure enough, yeah, that checks out. That works. Let's go back to the blue. Let's try this other one. 4 minus 15, that is -11. And then we've got minus 10 equals 1 at the end. I thought I was in blue. I guess I'm not. Absolute value of -11 is +11 minus 10 equals 1. And 11 minus 10 is 1, which equals 1. So yeah, both of these check out. We have two solutions. Z is equal to -7 and Z is equal to 15. All right, we're going to try one more for the review. Let's hide that and see what's under door number 3 here. All right, here, I'm going to slide this guy over there and hide him. So look, this time we have something in front of the bars. Remember, two things next to each other means multiply. So the opposite of that would be divide. And we have something at the end of the bars, which is -5. So we got to start with that one. We always start with the plus minus, then we tackle that multiplication guy. What we're going to do here is +5 to both sides. See what's left. 3 absolute value, 4w minus 1. The 5's cancel, and 10 plus 5 is 15. Two things next to each other is multiply. The opposite is division. So divide both sides by 3. That leaves us the absolute value of 4w minus 1 is equal to 5. All right, now the bars are by themselves. Nothing in front, nothing afterwards. We're going to go to our two scenarios. In scenario 1, 4w minus 1 is equal to 5. But in scenario 2, 4w minus 1 is equal to -5. Let's start solving for w in the same way now. Start with the add, subtract, do the opposite. So we're going to add 1. Remember, same steps, different scenario, so we can go ahead and do it to scenario 2 if we want. From left to right, 4w comes down, the 1's cancel, and 5 plus 1 is 6. Over here, same thing, 4w comes down, the 1's cancel, and this time it's going to equal -4. Two things next to each other means multiply. The opposite is division. So there we go. We divided by 4, and now w is 3/2. Remember, both of these are even numbers, so they're both divisible by 2, so I want to reduce that if I can. Over here, we also divide by 4. -4 divided by 4 means that w is equal to -1. So there's two possible solutions. Let's check them out and see if they work. The original equation was 3 absolute value of 4. Instead of w, we're going to put in there 3/2 minus 1 minus 5 is equal to 10. Let's go ahead and solve that one. So that'll give us 3 absolute value. 4 times 3, that's what's happening when you distribute. That gives us 12, and then 12 divided by 2, remember fractions are division, that would give us 6. Again, if you're bad with numbers, just put that into Desmos, put it in a calculator. We know 6 minus 1 is 5. And now the absolute value of 5 is still 5. So now the bars are gone, but to keep these separated, I use parentheses. 3 times 5, so this gets distributed in, is 15 minus 5. Does that equal 10? 15 minus 5 does, in fact, equal 10. So yeah, this first one is a solution. 3/2 works. Let's do it again. 3 absolute value of 4. This time we want to plug in that -1 to see if it works. -1. Ooh, that's kind of gross looking. Let me rewrite those. All right, there we go. 3 absolute value of 4. We plugged in the -1, -1. We'll close the bars and then write -5. Does that equal 10? Well, we know that 4 times -1 gives us -4. And then -4 and -1, that gives us -5 equals 10. -5, the absolute value, that's going to give us +5. So the bars are gone. Again, there's the parentheses just to keep them separated. Distribute in the 3, that means you're multiplying to get 15 minus 5 is equal to 10. And 15 minus 5, we said earlier, is in fact 10, equals 10. So there are 2 solutions. W equals 3/2 and W equals -1. So there's your review on solving for absolute value equations.